there is a concept, okay, that is so important that I keep coming back to it over and over and over again. Now, whether you're just starting out on your self-development or your dating skills journey, or you're a really advanced guy, this concept is so important, and it's foundational for not only your results with women, not only your happiness in life, but massively your confidence as well too. And it's a very, very important concept that I want to share with you guys and get your take on it as well too, if you want to comment below and let me know what you think. So I thought the best way to label this was striving versus arriving. And there's so many examples of this and other ways to define it, but that's probably the simplest way to talk about it. Now, striving, when I talk about striving is you wanting more, right? It's just, okay, I'm not in perfect shape yet, right? I don't have the low amount of body fat that I want. I could use 5 or 10 pounds of muscle, right? So you're gonna keep going to the gym and working on that. Same goes for, I'm getting some girls, but I'm not meeting the quality of women that I really want to in my life. I wanna work on that, right? Or I'm making, is another big one, right? I'm making good money, but I really wanna make a little bit more money to have a little bit more extra spending money or financial freedom or whatever it may be, right? So that's more so the striving, the goals and everything you're working on. And goals and striving are so important to life because they keep you going, they keep you getting up in the morning, and they're super important. But the issue is when all you're doing is striving, and this is what I see all the time with guys and myself as well a lot, which I'm really always working on, is if you're always working to the next thing, that goal that you want is always changing, always changing, always changing. You never hit that moment of arriving, which is the other half of this. That moment where you take a deep breath, you look around, you smell the roses and say, wow, I'm really proud of where I'm at. I'm really grateful for where I'm at. And I'm looking at these accomplishments that I had and saying, wow, this is really great. Now, this is an interesting concept because in society, in a lot of ways, objectively, this arriving is displayed in an actual tangible situation. So an example, if you make a movie, right, and you win an Oscar for it, now you have an award for that movie and that's it, right? Another great example is why we watch sports, right? Because we want to see who wins the Super Bowl and gets the trophy, right? When you go to college, you want to get that degree and say, here's the degree, right? You want to land that job and say, here's the job. You have some of these accomplishments where there's an actual tangible thing. But the issue is when it's your social skills, when it's your body. Well, body could even be like winning a bodybuilding contest or something like that, right? But mostly for the average person, right? Unless you're a professional actor or athlete or something like that, a lot of times, most of the time for the average person, there's never that event where it's like, okay, I got the award, I got the goal, and that's it. And because of that, we're always striving and moving forward. And there's nothing wrong, like I said, with striving. It keeps you going. But the issue is if all you're doing is striving and you're never arriving, you're never looking at and being proud for what you have, you're always going to be upset. You're always going to want more, and you're never going to feel a full amount of happiness, and you're never going to feel a full amount of confidence in yourself, okay? And probably one of the biggest examples of this and one of the biggest ways I've seen this point proved in the best way possible was a book called The Happiness Advantage. And I've talked to you guys about this book before on my channel. And in The Happiness Advantage, study after study showed that if you are happy and you're in a good place and you're feeling good, you are more productive, you're smarter, and overall your happiness is going to be better, but you're going to do better work. You're going to have a better quality of life if you're happy. So what I've done in the past before, and I've hit some of these moments, which I'm really honing in on in my life right now too, is a point where you're happy with where you are, okay? Where you have to determine what's enough, right? You're like, okay, I have enough money. I'm good enough as a person as I am. I'm in good enough shape. Everything I have is good. The thing is, we're afraid to say that because we're afraid if we say that, well, then we're never going to improve and we're going to get stagnant, we're going to get lazy and all this other stuff. But I've actually found that the opposite is true. If you stop doubting yourself so much and be grateful for what you have and think that what you have is enough, it frees up a huge amount of mental capacity to now say, okay, what's my game plan now going forward? now what I want to do. And you move forward and you work on things, and now you start striving again, but more so for a project, more so because you enjoy the journey, and less so because you feel like you're missing something. Okay, that's the real issue. When you feel like you're lacking something and you have to get in better shape because you're not good enough, and you're not making enough money, and you're not good enough for the women that you want, and you're not good enough to be a friend, or you don't have enough to go on that vacation, or you don't have enough to do this or do that. If you're doubting yourself and you have pain and all these other things that are causing you to fuel your striving, I found out that doesn't work for me, and it's a very unhealthy motivation. And science actually proves it, as like I said, I've read in the Happiness Advantage book. I was actually watching a video the other day from David Goggins. I know a lot of guys love David Goggins' stuff. I'm not a big fan of him. And one of the reasons why I respect him and his weight loss and all that stuff, and there's a lot to learn from the guy, I'm sure, but I'm not a huge fan of him. And one of the reasons why is I watched a video of his the other day, and he said that I'm always uncomfortable. I always live below my means. And even when I accomplish that goal, I knock myself right down to the bottom of the mountain. He goes, and I always want to be desperate, and I always want to be this because I always want to stay hungry to achieve my goals. And you know, when I was in my early 20s and I got started in my self-development journey, I would have loved that advice. I would have been like, yeah, man, that's awesome. Always be tough on yourself and always have pain, so the pain motivates you to go forward. And I'll tell you what, I remember when I was 29 and I turned 30, one of my buddies gave me some business advice, and he's like, pain is a great motivator, so you should cut out all the other things in your life and just focus on work. And I remember I moved to Vegas, I stopped going out, and I just focused on my business, just a lot of the internet part of it. And I got so depressed within a month, it was ridiculous. I was stressed out, I was depressed, I was overthinking, I hated myself, and I was in a terrible place because I wasn't doing anything for self-love, I wasn't doing anything that made me happy. I felt so far away from my goals, and I really beat myself down so much that I was not really getting much accomplished. I was overcomplicating things, and it was just a terrible, terrible place. So I spent some time after that just working on myself, just meditating, just doing things that I enjoyed, finding hobbies, and really working on my happiness in general, and just becoming happier and not thinking that I was lacking this or lacking that or whatever, just filling my cup and becoming a better person. And after doing that, I was able to go back to my job. I signed a bunch of clients, and the business took off, and I wound up doing really well that next year. I learned a very big lesson there that, look, if you have some pain in your life, if you're super overweight, or you've been really shy and lonely, and that pain forces you to take action and go forward, that's totally cool. And work on your goals and work hard on them. But don't get caught up in the trap, and that's the point of this video, man. Don't get caught up in the trap of, I still have to go a little further, I still have to have this, I still have to have that. I can't tell you how many guys, even guys who were former instructors, that felt they needed to relearn their game or work on themselves or become better, and there was something that they're missing to get the women that they wanted, right? And I told them, I said, you know what your biggest issue is? It's not that you need more things to say. It's not that there's something wrong with your strategy. It's not that you're not a good enough person or you need to get in shape or fashion or whatever. I said, your biggest issue is that where you actually are as a human being and where you think you are at very different levels. If you were to just see where you actually were and say, oh, I'm good, I actually have a lot to offer, and just be more accepting of yourself and feel like you've arrived a little bit more, everything else would take care of itself, man. Everything else would take care of itself. So it's such a massive concept. That's why I want to record this video for you guys. And it's something I really want to get across to you. And it's something that I'm always working on in my life. And I feel like I'm starting to get a little better of a hang of right now in my own life personally. And that is that I may not be in the absolute best shape I could be in, but I'm in pretty good shape. I may not have millions of dollars, right? But I have money to live. I may not, have everything figured out, right? And I may not, I may have other ways and extra space to go and growth to do, and that's totally fine. But that being said, I'm enough right now. I can be grateful for all that I have, and I can be pretty proud of what I present and I put forward. And knowing that, and being happy, I can live in the moment, I can enjoy my experiences, I can do what I want, and a lot of times what I want to do is continue to improve, right? And I could do that from a place of just a fun and enjoyment as a project, not a problem, and not from a lack of mindset. So let me know what you guys think of this. I think this is one of the most important lessons you could learn, not only as a man, not only improving your dating skills, not only just improving your life in general, but just as a human being. This is one of the most important concepts and things you could get and learn in your life, right? So like I said, get to a place where you're proud of what you have. Work on things like gratitude and writing down what you're grateful for. Write down a list of things that you're proud of that you've done and accomplished, and look at yourself objectively. Just like somebody who loves you would love you unconditionally. That could be your family or really good friends of yours could say, dude, you're awesome, you're amazing, right? You're good to go. You don't have to work on this stuff because you suck. You could work on it because it's fun, but you're good. I love you just as you are, right? I want you to have more acceptance of yourself, feel like you've arrived, feel like you're there, so that you can experience other people and not have all these hang-ups and self-doubts in your mind. And you can move forward on your journey and work on what you want because it's fun, because it's a project, rather than from a lack of and from something you need to get rid of or fix. So let me know what you thought of this video. Add your thoughts to the comments below. And when you're ready, I got a whole bunch of other videos for you here.